Hey there, let's chat about priority keeping today. As a data scientist and entrepreneur who has quite a busy schedule, I have come to really appreciate the different priority keeping tools out there. Today I want to introduce you to the 5 priority system, which is a technique coming from Tibetan Buddhism, which I'm personally using myself to plan my schedule and which I think will also greatly benefit you in planning yours. But before we get into the tool, let me say a few words about prioritization in general. So I'm oftentimes seeing prioritization getting kind of a bad reputation because it is so strongly associated with choosing the hard, not so comfortable, but important activities over the more enjoyable, fun, but less important things. Today I want to throw that mindset out of the window and give you a completely different take on prioritization. I would say that we can compare priority keeping to planning the construction works of a house. When you are planning building a house, I don't think you really ask whether the roof is more or less important than the basement. What you do ask is which of them has to be built first. And I think that's exactly the attitude which we want to take to planning our day as well. It's not so much about saying that this thing is more important, this thing is less important. It's more about saying that certain things are laying the foundation and hence they have to be addressed first. And once that base is there, we can go on and build whatever we want on top of that base. And that's exactly where the 5 priority system comes in handy. It consists of 5 priority areas, which are 5 areas of your life which you want to keep in a good balance. Namely, they are positive thinking, health, education, resources, and then finally your enjoyments, your worldly activities. Now the key here is that they are given in a very important order. They are ordered so that each item is laying the foundation for the next item to come. Just as with this basement and the roof. So let's see what they include. The first one being positive thinking. Now that has nothing to do with being naive, simple-minded, anything like that. It's a word which we use to talk about your positive mental qualities, your good personality traits, your good happy mood, your respectful, lovely attitude, everything in your mind which is genuinely positive, helpful, good. Now, it might sound funny that that thing is listed as the first item because usually you would maybe put something else as the first or as the most basic or the most fundamental thing in our life. But I would really state that that has to come first. Whatever you want to do in life, if you don't have your attitude, your mood, your mental health in place, things are not going to work well. Let's just remember maybe a day where you didn't have the best mood, maybe something had happened to you, maybe, just wasn't a good day for you. And if you start to recall what happened on this day, I think you're going to remember that things didn't work out so well. Maybe you went to work and for some reason everybody seemed to just ignore or reject your good ideas, or out of the blue some conflicts happened with your coworkers, or maybe you were trying to do something creative and whatever you assembled never looked quite the right thing. Or if you were doing some kind of a physical work, maybe you can recall that you were constantly losing your tools or you injured yourself or just stuff didn't work out for you. That's at least how I recall my experience. Just a few days I was kind of carelessly driving with my bike and got into a small little accident just because I wasn't paying attention. My mental qualities were not in place. And that led to me just wandering off within my mind and losing the control over my bike. So if you don't get your mental stuff right first, stuff is starting to go wrong with you. Now, if you have that in place, you have the strong foundation what you need, we can progress to the next layer, which is your physical health. Your physical health is also of supreme importance, because if you mess something up in here, it will influence everything else in your life. Maybe you don't really care too much about your sleep, and that just renders you being completely tired throughout the day, and of course all your work projects will get delayed because of that. Or maybe your eating habits are out of order, you don't get enough nutrition, that starts to affect your immune system, you constantly get cold and are ill, and again, of course, that won't really help you get any work projects done. So please do take good care of your health. Now, if we are happy in mind and fit and well in our body, we can get to the education part. Now, that's a very broad category, including everything from formal university courses up to just conversations with your friends who can offer maybe new perspectives, new viewpoints to things. That's just everything which is to do with bringing in some knowledge, bringing in some new skills, and just kind of broadening your horizons. Now, on top of that, fourthly, we can build resources, which is all about managing your revenue streams, managing your belongings, essentially everything you need to have a sense of stability and a sense of abundance in your life. Yeah, just making sure that you have some stable income, you don't have to stress too much, you don't have to worry too much about making ends meet. Maybe also making sure that your computer is functional and reliable, that during an important meeting you don't have to worry about your webcam maybe working, maybe not working, or your battery dying out. Making sure that your house is nice and tidy so that whatever you are looking for is wherever you think you would most easily find it. Just making sure that you have that sense of stability. Everything's good in your life. And if you have taken care of those 4 primary categories, whatever activities you now want to accomplish, whatever enjoyments you want to have, you can do all of that without this causing too much turbulence in your life. You have made the basement strong enough that you are now really set up for success in whatever else you want to accomplish. Now, if you start taking the actual items from your to-do list, you will soon figure out that they are too complex to just fit under one of these categories. Let's take a job, for example. Yes, it's bringing in some revenue, so it kind of goes under the resources, but not only. If you have a good job, it should definitely give you some kind of an educational value. It should give you an ability to learn something, practice something, and it definitely has some effect to your health. Maybe a good effect, maybe a not so good effect. So whatever things you have in your to-do list, they are actually always contributing to all of the 5 priority areas to some extent, and either in a positive or in a negative way. So one thing which I would advise you to do is to go through this exercise where you draw a big table. Then you can put the 5 priority areas into the columns. You can take your activities, turn them into the table rows, and then you can start to map out how each activity is contributing to each of the 5 priority categories. And if you have laid out that information for yourself, then you can really figure out what is this basis in your life. What are the most essential activities which definitely have to happen first, so that you can start to build on top of that whatever else you please do in your life. Some things which I myself would include in that base would maybe be a good night's sleep. If I'm just tired throughout the day, nothing's really going to work out well. Also for me, getting enough time in the morning to do my morning meditation, I really see that this completely shifts my mood throughout the whole day, and whoever I meet, whatever I undertake, just works so much better. So yeah, please go through this exercise, find out what are the things for you, and then please let me know down in the comments below how that went for you. Or there may be something which you weren't really able to evaluate. Or do you think that there are some priorities which I was missing, but which you nevertheless are considering to be important? And if you think that this tool is adding value to your life, if this is making your life more stable, more meaningful, please give us a thumbs up so that the YouTube algorithm would share this video with more people. And take care. I hope to see you in our next video.